Good morning, everyone. Good evening, and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzemos, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, my own interpretation of spiritual awakening is your spirit is waking up. So by spirit, I mean your consciousness is starting to show, and of course, you're starting to evolve. But at the same time, I also understand that at some point in time, of course, like everybody else, due to conditioning, society, religion, cultures, traditions, our consciousness has at some point been turned off. And most of the times, a lot of individuals around the world, they have just been moving like boats. You know what I mean? So you just move in cycles from one place to another. You go around the whole place, you come back to where you've been. And that cycle repeats each and every single day, every single month, and every single year. And at the end of the day, at some point in time, a person recognizes that those kind of patterns are not working for them. You know what I mean? At that point when they awaken, they recognize these patterns, they start to see everything on a deep level and understand everything on a deep level. And at the same time, they also understand that they have always been conscious, but it's just that that part of their consciousness has always been turned off for as long as they've been alive. I woke up from narcissistic abuse 2019. So I remember in those days, I was like, I wanted to do something different. I was thinking, what can I do to make a difference? Because I was feeling this higher calling in myself. I was feeling within me a higher calling, and I knew that there was something I needed to do. I just didn't know what exactly, but I knew I had a bigger calling in life. So I remember I came in this particular spot. There's a spot somewhere down there, and I did a video. That video was called My Spiritual Journey. You know what I mean? So the beginning of my awakening. So I was explaining a lot of things that were happening at the time when I was waking up. And then I noticed that the very moment I pushed the play button, that is exactly when everything took off. I do not know exactly what happened next. I just noticed that for some reason, things just took off and they just started to flow naturally and organically, and the words just started coming in. In those days, I didn't even know anything about spiritual downloads. So I was as green as an unawakened empath. So I didn't know anything about spiritual downloads. I just noticed things were just flowing, and eventually the video was done. It was almost a 35 minutes video, if I can remember properly. So I remember coming here on this tree, and I replayed the video in this particular spot. That's the reason why I'm doing this video in this spot. So I came back in this spot, and I did a replay on that particular video, and I listened to each and every single word I was saying in that video. And guys, behold, everything I read, everything I was listening to was the truth. I was just watching myself speaking about the truth. But the only thing I didn't recognize is, the only thing I couldn't understand is, how did I get, first of all, the courage? Where did I get the proper words? And how did I actually phrase that video properly to make a full entire video? I did not know exactly what was helping me behind the scenes. But for some reason, the video was done. And of course, eventually I uploaded the video, and the video was successful. In this video, I want to let you guys know something. A lot of you chosen ones who are waking up, you're divinely guided. Number one, you're divinely protected. If you wake up, with the very moment you wake up, you are going to notice that actually a higher power is going to take over. You know what I mean? So it's like you will not usually be in control of things. You will notice that actually there's always been this behind the scenes control of your life that you weren't aware of. Sometimes you would even fall into negative patterns without knowing it. But now you start to recognize all these patterns, and you start to get out of this old programming and old patterns. You know what I mean? So your life starts to kind of move in a completely different direction than the direction you've been used to for a very long period of time. So that's the reason why you see, when your spirit is awakening, when you're becoming more conscious, you start to become more aware of your environment, you become more aware of your surroundings. You're waking up each and every single day with a sense of purpose. You might not even necessarily have found your purpose yet, but you will always notice that actually every morning you wake up, each and every single morning, you have got a very high sense of purpose. You just don't know what it is. You just don't know where to go, but you just feel a higher calling in you that you need to do something about your life to move completely different direction. And for some reason, one way or the other, believe me guys, whether you know it or you don't know it, the very moment you have got the bulbs turned on, you're conscious, you're going to start moving to a different direction, and your life purpose is going to come to you. In this video, I'm letting you guys know that you're protected and you've got help from beyond. So by this, what I mean is that you don't have to worry about making big moves. You know what I mean? Don't worry about making big moves. In my videos, I've sometimes said, don't underestimate those small things that are, you know, there will be sometimes those little hints of intuition that will come to your mind. You know what I mean? You're waking up every morning and you're thinking, I've usually thought about starting a business. I've usually thought about, you know, opening up my store or things like that, or starting my online business. You've always had this kind of little things, hints coming into your mind. That has been source, divine speaking to you. You know what I mean? So usually, in my own case, I remember that day I was at home sleeping. And then I was like, actually, I've gone through this awakening, everything. You know, I would understand everything, what was going on. So I had gone through a very, very difficult awakening. So that's when I noticed that actually I can even go out there and start to spread this message to the people around the world, because I'd awakened from narcissistic abuse. But at the same time, I knew that I wasn't the only person who had actually gone through narcissistic abuse. You know what I mean? So I decided to come out. I just got my camera all of a sudden. Guys, you cannot believe it. I took my camera from the shelf. I walked out in the vicinity. It was a very sunny day. I remember those days. I think it was around July. And I reached in the park. I pressed play. Of course, things didn't go well in the first set. I stopped. I pressed play the second time. I stopped because I was not sure about what to say. The third moment I pressed play, the whole video just flowed. I may decide to share the video in the comment section below. Chosen ones, I want to tell you something very important. You have got a higher calling in life. A lot of you have got a higher calling in life. Let me tell you something. Nobody ever fool you. According to my own experience and understanding, nobody will ever fool you that you just came here to wake up each and every single morning and eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, wash your face, go and jump on the bus and go to a work or a job that you do not like. That is not what you were born for. You may necessarily be in a 9-to-5 job because, of course, even before your awakening in the matrix, you used to do some kind of a regular job. But normally, you're supposed to pay close attention. Every time you're going to be sitting at home, you will feel something in your head telling you, go a certain direction, call so and so, move to this, move to that, do this, do that. You're going to feel there is something pushing you towards a certain direction. Chosen ones, do not ignore that calling. That is a calling from God. God is actually moving you to a different direction, because remember, abundance is your birthright. Abundance is everybody's birthright. But because of the programming, like I've said, the conditioning of the system, that is why a lot of people, they are trapped in places they do not like. They are trapped in jobs they do not like. They wake up each and every single morning complaining about their bosses, their supervisors. They're complaining about their workmates. They don't even like their income. And you're in some kind of a cycle that actually has made you some kind of a slave. It's like you feel your life is enslaved each and every single day, and you cannot jump out of that matrix. Chosen ones, if you have awakened, this video is to let you know you have got a higher calling. Start with the little things. Start with the little steps. If you have got a phone, that phone you're using to check your Twitters and Instagrams and all these kind of Facebooks and whatever, these social media platforms and all that, a lot of you guys even have got a very big following on these Facebooks and Instagrams and things like that. You can use your following, guys, to kickstart your direction. There's a lot of things you know. Chosen ones are blessed with knowledge. Number one, you're blessed with knowledge. Chosen ones, you're also blessed with wisdom. You're blessed with a lot of gifts, spiritual and even sometimes physical gifts. Those gifts are waiting for you to tap into, so that those gifts can now move you to the next level and you can eventually become a better version of yourself. When I look back in time, there's more than 400 videos on YouTube I've done already in 2.5 years' time. I look back in time and I look at my first video, and I don't even know, guys. If you ask me now, in this moment, I will not tell you that at that moment I knew where I was going. I just woke up each and every single morning and I'll just get my camera and I'll come out in the nature. The only thing I did, one important thing I did, was speak my truth. And what was my truth? Going through narcissistic abuse. I had awakened from it, I had healed from it. So I just wanted to come out there and help other individuals around the world who are also going through the similar experience, and they're also struggling to heal. So that's when I knew that I had a bigger calling in life. Yes, in those days I was still doing an ordinary job. Every now and then there are sometimes when I go out and do little things, of course, behind my schedule. But I never abandon my purpose, because I know this purpose is exactly what I'm here for. I will wake up each and every single morning and I will inspire. It doesn't matter what I'm doing on the side. You may be a person who is doing a regular job. You may be somebody who is doing regular things, but you will also sacrifice at least even a day in your life, a day in the week. You will get out there, guys. You can use your cameras. You have got cameras. Those cameras you're using, you've got very big followings. A lot of guys, they're just watching your pictures. You're posting pictures, and people, they're liking your pages and everything. Those same cameras you can use to inspire. The same way you like to be validated when you're making photographs on Instagram and, you know, asking for validation and likes, those same cameras you use to make pictures, you can also make videos, guys. You can inspire people. Even sometimes you can just write little phrases that are inspiring other individuals at one point to become a better version of themselves. So chosen ones, you don't sit on your gifts. You don't sit on your talents, because if you sit on your talents and you refuse to follow that calling, that big calling in you, the big calling within you, your gifts are going to go in vain. And at some point, you're going to end up like everybody else. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you understand that you did not come here to live like everybody else. I refuse that. Me personally, I refuse that. I did not come here to do everything what everybody is doing. In those days, I was waking up, I remember, and I started doing videos. Then I remember, a family member reached out to me. Then they told me, oh, you know what, Denzo, why are you wasting time on this YouTube? What are you even doing? These videos and everything, why don't you go and do... Because I remember those days, I think we were coming out of the lockdown. So a family member reached out to me and told me that I should abandon the videos. You know what I mean? I should not put a lot of focus on the videos. I should go out there and seek a normal job. Not only that, there was even a workmate. There was a workmate I was speaking with in those days, and I was telling them about, oh, you know, they were telling me, oh, these days I've not seen you for a while, because those days I hadn't been at work for a while. So they were saying, we haven't seen you for a while, and things like that. I told them, because I'm doing videos. Actually, this is my channel. You guys can come and subscribe to my channel. So those guys, they went and subscribed immediately. Of course, they had their phone with them. They went and subscribed. He went and subscribed. And then the next thing he told me that, but you know what, this thing doesn't seem like it's working, you know what I mean? Because look, there's no views, you know what I mean? You don't have views. Maybe sometime he was seeing 1 or 2 views, you know, because I think in those days I'd done around 20 videos on YouTube, you know what I mean? So I'd introduced that channel to my friend. So he went there and subscribed. And the only thing he told me that this thing is not working, you know what I mean? Just, you know, go and get the job, and then this thing you can just put it like that, and you know, so a lot of people will not understand anything that you're doing. People, let me tell you, chosen ones, you are walking a completely different journey than anybody else. Your journey and your purpose is a very big calling. You've got a very big calling on your life. There's a lot of people who are waiting to be inspired by you. There is so many people around the world who are waiting to hear you speak, even sometimes to show them your talent, so that they can learn from you and they can get inspired by what it is you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you're also going to help them to get out of their comfort zone. The whole meaning of purpose, you get out of your comfort zone, you do what it is you're gifted at, whether it is a talent, a gift, or things like that. By doing that, you're inspiring people. There is people who will be sitting somewhere down there watching you, and they're hoping, or they're believing that one day they'll wake up and be like you. I've been reached out by people, and sometimes I've helped them as well along their journey. Whether it was YouTube they were starting, or they were planning to start doing, or whether it was something very important they wanted to do. I've actually also sometimes coached people on things like that that involve purpose. But you're going to notice, chosen ones, that whatever it is you decide to do not ignore the calling. That calling is going to come to you, but you are supposed to know that there is a higher power that is calling you to go a different direction and to start something new. You're supposed to understand, chosen ones, you are protected. Let me tell you something, chosen ones, you are protected. Anybody wants to harm you, they're going to end up injuring themselves. Anybody wants to block your way, they're going to end up actually facing it very, very rough, because you are the chosen and anointed people of God, and nobody can stop. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can block you. They will try. Sometimes they will slow you down. But I'll guarantee you that if you stick to the calling, because God knows this, God knows his children. God knows his chosen ones, and he's always watching over you. The angels, the guides, the spirit guides. The universe is going to speak to you. You will see synchronicities. Each and every single morning you wake up, you are going to see 1 or 2 or 3 synchronicities. Me, myself, personally, I see synchronicities each and every single minute, sometimes all throughout the day. Till the time I go to bed, I see synchronicities every single day, and I know that those are my guides, telling me that, okay, so Denzo, this is what we are going to do. That's what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. You know what I mean? So yesterday there was a fruit there was a fruit I bought. I think for most of you guys from Africa, you know the fruit is called bitter cola. The bitter cola nuts, you know, there are those nuts, you know, sometimes. So I've never eaten bitter cola before. So I bought these bitter colas and I brought them at home. So I ate the first one the other day. So yesterday, I remember, I woke up and I go downstairs. I don't know, I was doing something in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden on the oven, I saw the number 1111 because there's a time there. So I saw the number 1111. So for a moment I was standing there and I was thinking, okay, 1111, what is this? What is the message for me here? I knew that that was my guy speaking to me. So I knew there was something I just needed to look around me. You know what I mean? So I looked around and I'm thinking that what is the message here? What exactly is the universe trying to tell me? And then all of a sudden something told me that actually you can pick up one bitter cola nut, you know, because I bought like 4 of them just for a trial. I wanted to try because I've never eaten these things before. But I understood that they are very beneficial to the body. So what I did, I picked one of them. And then I was like, okay, so this thing looks like it has passed through so many hands. So I started washing it. And then I was like, I'm not only going to wash it, but I'm also going to peel it, you know, because it's a very big nut, something like that, you know, something like that. So I was peeling the nut, only to find out that actually that nut, inside of the nut was rotten. So you can imagine that the universe was telling me, go downstairs. I went downstairs. I was just there looking around in the kitchen. Then I saw the number 1111. And in that same time, I decided to look around and I saw that bitter cola nut. If I hadn't actually really carefully taken a look at that bitter cola nut, I would end up eating that bitter cola nut the way it was, not knowing that bitter cola nut was rotten. So the universe has got your back, chosen ones. You just have to read the signs, pay very close attention to the synchronicities, and follow your intuition. You are going to be guided always, all the time. And everything you are going to say, whatever it is, if you're a public speaker, if you're somebody who wants to inspire people, the downloads are going to come to you. The moment I come to nature, I can guarantee you guys, the only thing I do is press play button, and that is it. The rest is coming to me. I don't know where it is coming from, and I don't know how I sometimes succeed doing these videos. I've told you that I've got more than 400 videos plus. I do not know each and every single thing. I know that whatever I'm talking about is the truth, but the downloads are just coming in organically and authentically. So choose the ones that is going to be your life. You have to know you are protected. You have got a very big backup behind you. The only thing is going to tell you is to speak to you through intuition, and it's going to push you towards a certain direction. When you hear that little voice, choose the ones, get up and move. That is your calling. You're going to find your purpose along the journey. So let me know what you think about this video. Comment section below, chosen ones. Book a session, guys, with me. Comment and leave us a comment. Donate and support if you want to. And always remember to push the notification so that you always get notified in case you don't miss any future videos I upload. Until then, guys, been a blessing to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. Desmond signing out, and I'll catch you in my next one. Peace.